And there we go. Good evening. Welcome to the
Yo, evening.
there we go, man. Oh, now I can see you as a co-host. Great.
Super.
Yeah.
How's my connection?
Oh, it's perfect. I can hear you perfectly.
I'm in my office upstairs, and it's always kind of like 50-50 with the internet connection for some reason. So yeah.
Oh, lovely, lovely. That's amazing. Yeah, it's a classic with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But yeah, mm, I'm gonna share the room to a couple of places. We should be joined by one person from the Hate community, few guys from the personal journey,
Awesome.
a
Yeah, I'm gonna
few.
share it as well within my network.
Yeah, let's see. There's always like the chance that at these hours there's another bigger space that's hoarding a lot of audience, but usually this is the time when those end, and then they start rolling out in different groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has proven to be usually like the best time to host spaces, at least for me personally. If I
Awesome.
could, I would host them at like 1 a.m. my time, because that's usually when like US wakes up. But I don't want to stay up that late, so this is
Yeah,
good.
no,
But
I get that. I tried, for instance, I really tried last night staying up for the Enter the Garden episode 2. I made it till 1 a.m. and then I was just like, I can't anymore. I'm not the same night owl I used to be.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's completely fine, you know. Things change, different times. And at the end of the day, I think like whatever works for you is the best. And there's just so many spaces happening all over the timeline that you just can't be in all of them. By the way, Zoo and Odeka, so happy to have you here as well. If you feel like joining the stage as speakers, feel free to request for the mic. I have Exla here as the co-host. I always
Hey.
have my guests as co-hosts, so they can also just pick up people as they wish to. But yeah, we're going to be talking today about community, how to build it, how people perceive it as community members, how the market affects communities or building them, and of course, learn a bit about the Little Green Brewery. There's also going to be a little giveaway, sharing the room out, chilling for a moment. Sadly, I do not have tunes. I should fix that. Do you have music?
I can. Let me see. Yeah. You do everything via my phone, and since I'm in on my phone, it's another. Oh wait, here. Let me see. Any vibe requests? Shall I just do the nice, simple lo-fi vibes?
Yeah, I think that's completely fine at this hour. And yeah, lo-fi is good.
Cool. And yeah, what's up, Zoo? Odeka, how y'all doing? Thank you for joining. Oh no, that's Latin music. You know what? Yeah, we'll do it a little different. Can everyone hear the music? Welcome, M. Welcome, Carlitos. Thank you for joining us.
There we go. I think that's that's lovely. I I don't know what to say. That was a good song, big man. Really enjoyed the vibes.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I thought yeah, usually lo-fi is what everyone goes to, or hip hop. I thought I'd play some of my culture, some Latin salsa, chill vibes, the classic, kind of good background music.
Re-
Music you like kind of listen to where you can kind of groove the hips, yet have a really, really good arroz rice dish with some chicken. So on a nice sunny day or evening with a cold beer. So yeah, it's one of my go-tos.
really loving it. I lived in Spain for a while, so yeah,
Oh,
nostalgic
nice.
vibes.
Ah, nice.
But yeah, I've shared the room to a couple of places. We are supposed to be joined by some HAPE community members to talk about community as well. One of their talkers should be coming through shortly. I'm not sure if there's any bigger space that's hoarding attention. That's completely fine. Today's topics are community. We're going to talk about how to build one, how to be part of one, how the market and everything around us is affecting the communities, and in general, just have a good talk, share some ideas, share what we're doing, and of course, get to know Lilgrun Brewery and Exla a lot better. Really happy to have you here. And before we get
Awesome.
really started, how has your day been?
Thanks for that. Yeah, my day is honestly been pretty chill for a Friday. I woke up at a good time. Little man got to sleep in, but he's got a small, tiny little fever due to teething, but he's doing good. It was sunny here in Holland. For everyone listening in, I'm based in Holland. It's been miserable fucking weather, but it's been finally sunny. It wasn't too cold, and so yeah. But no, good overall. Good overall. Work got done, emails got sent, and just Friday vibes.
Really loving it.
How about you?
Very similar here. Like my kid is still teething. I think we had yesterday like a big teeth come through. There was a bit of blood on the sheet,
Oof,
so
oof.
figures why he wasn't sleeping too well during the night. And otherwise, it's been okay. Like he's kind of getting to the place where he's what's it in English? Like he doesn't want to do whatever we want him to do. Like that
Ah, yes,
that
yes.
stage.
The independent, starting the independency and the nose and all that. Yep.
Yeah, but it's wonderful. Also, he learned how to scream, so it's a good combination.
I love it. I love how you say he learned how to scream. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to call it singing, but it's it's more screaming, but we do listen to heavy metal, so I guess I can't blame anyone else than myself for it. But
Nice.
but yeah, otherwise really good. Had a lot of calls. Mm, been organizing an event in Finland, and yeah, just preparing for the space. I'm really excited to learn more about your plans. And you did mention that there was a little alpha you wanted to drop into space. To everyone who has been joining so far, feel free to repost the room and join the giveaway. There's something extra that Little Green Brewery is giving all the participants here a possibility to enter in. Actually, we should pin that up. Can you go through the giveaway prizes meanwhile?
Yeah. No, so I thought, given my name, I thought I'd just do for all the listeners a chance to win a nice mixed 3 pack of the beers we have. Maybe one of them will be one that is going to launch later in the months, a very secret brew. So yeah, that's one prize. And within that is for sure going to be I don't want to say it's prized because it hasn't gone through awards yet, but my prized recipe of Bobu's rice lager. So that one definitely will be in there. And then the other two I'll just leave as a tantalizing, little surprise for whoever wins it. And for the second one, the second prize will be a nice little goodie bag of stickers, magnets, and if memory and research serves correctly, the first beans stress toy that I created with one of my beans. And I think we could all use it since I know everyone's, looking at the markets, the charts. I'm not a trader, but, I do know what's what's, and it's not fun looking at what's going on in for all our bags. So I think a little stress toy can definitely help. And yeah, I hope someone gets to enjoy it as much as I do.
Really loving it. I haven't actually seen any stress toys in the market for NFT communities, so I think they do come in handy, especially in times like these.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. I have just shared this to a couple more rooms. Mm, I should also talk in Discord because that seems to be the place for some people to contact them. But yeah, I think without further ado, let's get started. This is a recorded space. I'll be later creating a YouTube post and a highlight post about it. So people who do miss the space get all the juicy alpha and good conversation that we have in the space. But so happy to have you here. Can you tell us who you are and what you're currently building?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for extending this invitation and doing this. I think is really cool. Yeah, who am I? Metaphysically, philosophically, that is a deep question, but to the nitty-gritty of it all, I am a simple creative. My name is Exla. Um, real name is just Alex, so Exla is just a kind of turnaround of it all. Um, I like to do really cool shit. I like to design really fun brands, design logos, and just work on fun passion projects. And with that, kind of birthed Little Green Brewery. And how that happened was just what my best friend and I literally were having a board game night with our partners. And he goes, dude, would you ever want to brew your own beer? I was like, yeah, sure, but I'm not a good cook, man. So I don't think I could do really well brewing beer. He goes, no, 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 no. We can do a course and we can have a master brewer guide us and everything. And on top of that, I know you've been wanting to design your own beer label. I was like, yeah, of course. It's cool. Every designer wants to design a car or a drink brand or get some of their illustration work in the big brand, Nike or whatever. So I was like, yeah, of course. So he goes, okay, cool. Let's do it. So, long story short, we talked with a couple of breweries. They showed us the way, tips and tricks. And then one brewery who we're partnered with for about 6 years now goes, look, for your first beer, bring me what you like. whether it's the color of the beer, the taste of the beer, different profiles of the beer. Let me know as well what foods you like, and I'll guide you on how you take those next steps. So we did that. We sat down. We got no lagers, just FYI for anyone, and no IPAs. So yeah, I love IPAs. Don't get me wrong, but everyone starts with an IPA when they start their home brewing or big brewery journey. So we created a wheat beer, and what we decided to do is we decided to put a little bit of our own cultures into it. I come from a Latin and a Caribbean culture. The Caribbean aspect being from Curaçao, the Dutch Caribbean next to Aruba and Bonaire, for those who want to look it up. Um, and he is from Indonesia, and so we would put different fruits and yes, I can yeah, vegetables as well in our beers. And that's kind of how we started. We experimented. We did a small batch, then we did a really big batch, and our first wheat beer hit the market a couple of years. Yeah, no, 2019. Yeah, 2019, and we really loved it. And ever since then, it's been a great side, not even a side hustle, just a good passion project, side business outside of my IRL Web2 business, so to speak. And then later on, I think it was when I started really getting into the crypto, Web3, metaverse, anything you want to really categorize it as, NFT space. I was like, wow, I could create something great with, the IPs that I'm a part of, and as well with, which is the main theme of the Web3 aspect of our brewery, Azuki and the Beans. Me being an anime lover and everything, I was like, yeah, this is just so cool. And I don't think, outside of one or two other major brands, um, I don't think it's widely done. So I'll do it in Europe. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So we kind of went through a small rebranding, and Little Green Brewery was born, with the main mascot being, aka me in Beans form, which is my main Beans, the little green, O face, confused face little dude. And from there, we kind of are starting a new journey in trying to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3 with a very tasty product. And not only a tasty product, but a kind of a moment that you create, whether you're drinking alone or drinking with friends. When you drink a beer, even if it's a bad day, you create a moment, and it's, hopefully not too bad. It, sticks in there, and you can go back and go, oh yeah, that happened. So yeah, that's kind of what we wanted to do, and kind of show Web3 besides, oh, I got a hoodie, or oh, I got some stickers, the possibilities of what you can do with, yeah, your NFTs, and whatever you own in a Web3 space, that you can do more. And so that's what I did. So I just kind of combined the two, took my knowledge from the brewery side, took my knowledge from being a freelance designer back in the day, and marketing, and taking the little bit of knowledge I have within the space, and try to kind of connect the two, before I kind of lose where I'm going and ramble on. That's kind of it in a nutshell. So yeah.
I'm really loving it. And I don't think that was rambling. You went quite nicely through your whole journey, and really thank you for sharing that. Like that's pretty amazing.
Cool, cool.
I don't know too many people who have just kind of started their own brewery just like that. That's pretty dope.
Come to Holland. We have, as of this year, because we always check, including big breweries, so Heineken, Hertog Jan, Lagunitas, a bunch of the big brands, which are owned by a huge brand, um, and even our local medium-sized breweries, to the guy who's your neighbor and he's brewing out of your shed. On record, we have, it fluctuates constantly, but this year I saw between 800 and 900 breweries registered in the Chamber of Commerce. So yeah, and for a tiny country, there's a shitload. So yeah, come visit. I'll take you guys on the tour.
I hope that's an open invite to everyone in the space, because I'll
It
definitely.
is. It is.
Okay, everyone, feel free to DM Exla. We're gonna make this happen. A field trip incoming. I have a bunch of kind of hard questions for you. If you can't answer all of them, that's completely fine. If anyone in the audience feels like answering or just asking something, feel free to drop the comments to the right-hand corner down below. And of course, repost the room, show some support to Exla here, and let's get it started. The first thing I kind of want to know, and I'm pretty interested in, is
Cool.
how, like you have a Azuki PFP. I assume this is a OG or Elemental.
No, I wish. No, it's an elemental. And though I almost got an OG, but that means I would have to liquidate all the beans in this elemental just to get one. And I'm more of a balance of good quality combined with quantity. So that's why I've got this one. And this one's very special to me, as just like the beans that's on my banner. And within the image of this space is represents me in a fun side. This represents my wife. Throughout every single thing in my life, good and bad, as well as hers. We've literally gone like thick and thin through the woods, through fire, both individual families and externally. It's been a great roller coaster of experience and learning, and I wouldn't be here without her love and support. So I told myself, whether it's an OG or an elemental, given the market, of course, I have to buy a waifu that literally represents as best as possible my wife. So I picked three that were a water domain because we both met, or no, she's from Curacao, and I used to live there for years, and I'm also from there. I was like, okay, ocean, type of deal. She's a Cancer as well, so I was like, okay, let me see how I can incorporate that. And out of the three, she's like, yeah, this one is the one that's from an anime version. Looks like her, the blonde hair, the cap, the jacket, just the vibes. Not the eyes, but close enough. So this one's my forever elemental. Even it would be really, really hard, even if someone offered me a shitload of money, it would be really, really hard to say yes to because it just, for my first one, this means something special to me.
I'm really loving that. I also have a personal journey NFT that represents my wife. I guess that's a
Ah,
recurring
nice.
topic in, in this space. I think it's nice. But
Yeah,
what
I
I,
know a lot of people who do it, and they're like, yeah, it will be hard to sell, but they're forever. And I think that's what's cool with whether it's Persona, whether it's Azuki, whether it's Pudgies, whether it's, Digicaps, whether it's any doodles, whatever big or small collection is, the collectors go, you know what? I'll flip some, but the ones that I'm keeping, they're not keeping because I think it's cool. No, there's that. No matter what, 50% to 100%. Yeah, this one means this to me. This one means that to me, and that's what I like about the space. It's really cool to see people really attach themselves to an image like this, to artwork, and keep it personal. And it's really cool that as doxed and undoxed the world is within Web3, it's still very personal and on a deep level. And it's people take that for granted sometimes, and I think it's really unique.
I completely agree. But what I was going to ask about this is that
Yeah.
as you have branded your brewery with the Azuki Bean and you're rocking a Azuki PFP, have you gotten support from the Azuki project with these endeavors of yours?
um, if I'm understanding your question correctly, given that I'm using the IP, have I gotten support from the main Azuki IP to in support or anything like that? Correct?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Um, and not in a bad way, how I say this. No, not at all. It was purely just ask, hey, after reading the website's clear IP rights and usage of each image, I was like, okay, it's pretty simple. So yeah, so it was pretty much like that. But in terms of actual business or anything, It falls everything in line with what they've stated on the website, so there wasn't really need to ask. Though I don't know. Well, it's very, 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 very speculative. What I'm about to say is I'm trying to work on something very interesting later on this year. It's on 1%, so that's why it's not really worth saying. But no, what they have been supportive with is just the community, what this space is about. Um, that's what's been really what Azuki brought to me when using the IP rights and actual just making something of it is just the community, the people I've connected with, both from every single country worldwide that I've tapped into. It's really that. No, and that's what I think is more valuable than asking for funds or asking for, hey, can you, support me like this? Because network is everything. Knowledge is power in a sense, over anything. Because at the end of the day, you can buy a fish, but if you know how to fish, it's way better.
Completely agreed. And that was essentially my second question. Like, has the Azuki community supported you? And that's something I saw also in NFT Paris. That definitely yes. And it is so fun to see how, to me, this seemed like an official project because everyone was like really supportive towards the beverages that you were helping, well, me to ship to Paris, even though I completely failed at that task. But
No worries, no worries. In all due time, in all due time.
definitely. But I think it's really amazing, like especially the Twitter group, the European Azukis. I think it just feels that everyone supports you wholeheartedly, even if it's not an official project, but it's your passion project, and you do hold like or give like a platform for Azuki IP, and I think that's amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate those words. It means I'm doing something right. So that's good. And it helps put those imposter syndrome and, oh God, am I doing it right vibes in my head at bay. So thank you so much. And to bridge a little bit more, yeah, the community has been fucking badass, from at least the half I see in the space to half I've never even met. So yeah, and it's just, I'm not gonna try to let me put on my salesman hat. I'm not gonna try to sell something or snake oil if I don't believe it in myself. And so everything I do, whether it's design work, whether it's making a 3D printed object to brewing beer, is purely with the love and basis of making connections and creating moments. Because man, come on, you got to say at least every now and then when everyone here, I bet, has had that moment there. They hear a song, or they see a movie clip, or they see something in the distance, and boom, a random memory pops up, and they smile. That little smirk of a smile, like, oh, that was a good time. Then it goes, oh, when again? And with that, that's what I want to create. And if I don't love it, then how is a community that I'm trying to break into at the time, and I have broken into, gonna trust me to carry them and also talk for them on the thing I'm trying to make? So yeah, that's really been awesome.
I'm really loving it. Also, at this point, Shiba King, Hendrix, welcome to the space. We're gonna talk soon about some grander topics. Uh, Exla, we're gonna keep you guys in the center here, but I kind of want to reach or expand this conversation to a larger level, like how things can or could be happening in the future as well. But before we go there, Shiba King, Hendrix, could you guys give a quick TLDR, who you are, what you're doing in this space?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. What's up, y'all? My name is Hendrix. I've been in space for a couple years. Left and then came back a couple months ago. I run a lot of spaces and I run the Bozo Radio podcast for Final Basu. So yeah, I'm just here to be with my boy True and talk to the community and do my part, you know.
Thank you so much for coming through, man. And Shiba King, are you here?
What's going on? Yeah, what up? I saw you posted in our chat. I don't know, a spunky chat. Thought I'd come by and say hello. Maybe meet you guys. I'm listening in. And I see this is your first space, or at least this space is its community episode 1. So thought I'd come out and hang out. I guess I'll just give it the quick rundown of Shiva. Been in NFTs for about 4 years. I've been in crypto since 2017. Came from ETH. Pretty much do project managing, promoting, collaborations, Discord modding, everything besides dev work and art. I'm not an artist, but I've been doing that for this whole time, and joined Yuga Labs finally on the Bored Ape level like about a month ago. Pretty much live on Ape Chain since November. Got my first Yuga Lab asset maybe like about a year ago, and kind of dreamed a dream to maybe get an ape, and here we are. But yeah, I've been living on Ape Chain and enjoying my ETH assets. Hopefully one day they go back to the moon. But yeah, just kind of just building. Meanwhile, the rest of the market tanks and shits the bed. But yeah, if you guys are building or interested in learning more about Ape Chain or anything, let me know. But it's good to meet you guys. What up?
Really happy to have you here, man. And definitely interesting times, interesting times. And I do expect that we're going to see some tops again eventually. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this year, who knows? But, let's just enjoy the ride. John, also, welcome. How's it going? Can you give us a quick DLDR of who you are and what you're building right now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Good, good. Hey everyone. Yeah, so my name's Joam. I'm currently program director at Hape. So kind of, responsible for helping the team kind of deliver all of the things that we're working on at the moment. And yeah, I just thought I'd come here today and just, yeah, support True and just support everyone and kind of talk to the community. I think, I started my journey in the Web3 space in 2022. Kind of just by joining the Hate team, really. Never had any experience, never knew what NFTs or crypto was, but kind of just jumped straight into the deep end. And yeah, I've been working with Hate for almost 3 years now. Yeah, bought my first NFT when I joined the team, and since then gone on to buy more NFTs, do some trading, buy some crypto, and yeah, just kind of rid the wave with everyone else. I've seen all the ups and downs that everyone else has seen, and kind of been through the mud, but still here, still loving the space and still trying to build.
Really lovely to have you here. And now that we have a full panel and some speakers, I'd like to shift to the topic at hand. And it is community and boosting community. In these current market stages, there's a lot of things that affect community sentiment as a whole. And we kind of touched this with Exla, but I'd like to hear from you guys. And anyone is free to answer. Also, listeners, you can just drop a comment about this. But how do you guys think a project should act currently to keep or even grow their community? And Exla, you can go ahead if you feel like answering this.
Sorry, connection dropped out for a second. Can you repeat?
So in this current market conditions, how do you feel like a project should interact with their community to maintain the positive or current connection with them or even grow?
Since communication is literally the basis of what any good relationship is just be upfront. Just if whatever's going on, especially in this market, if it's bad, then I'm a very easygoing person. So if someone goes, look, I shit the bed, and they have the data to prove that they shit the bed, and they go, you know what? Even though I shit the bed, I have solutions A, B, and C. I'm like, okay, hey, I like the fact that you have solutions. Let's work towards it. And just like I said, any good relationship, any good marriage, any good friendship, any good business partnership, is just talk about the highs, the lows, and as long as, and I'm not into data, like I'm not an analyst or anything, but I am into data in the sense of if you got it on black and white, and if it's clear, then you should be fine, and just be honest, be upfront. Web3 or Web2 doesn't matter. We're all fucking human beings. We're all going through something. We don't know what's going through on someone's inside or outside. So literally communicating, sharing milestones, sharing even if it's not foolproof, proof, but just some sort of a plan. In my mind, then you can keep everyone rallied. You can keep a community strong, and then if you've done that and have laid a good ground floor, just like any house or anything else, then you can weather the storm. You should be fine. So yeah, basic communication is my thing. Be upfront, be honest, and have a plan.
Really loving that. John, go ahead. You opened your mic.
Yeah, I kind of think that, just piggybacking off that, I think like sometimes the simplest thing and the basic thing is the answer. Like, and also like getting rid of your ego. I feel like a lot of people are just like acting like they know everything. I think like no one knows what this space is going to be in like a year. No one knows what it's going to be in like 2 years. No one has all the answers, right? So we're all just trying to build. So I think with your community, it's all about being transparent, involving them in the conversation about the decisions that you're making. So I know like a business is a business. You're not going to take on every single advice that the community gives you, but you've just got to let them know that you're listening. You're considering the things that they're saying, and then like just keep them along on the journey. Like if you're building something, regularly give them updates, just so they can see how things are going, what it's looking like. Give them sneak peeks, things to excite them. And I honestly think like just keeping that transparency and the ongoing communication. I'm not saying it's going to solve all the problems and it's going to help you have the most bullish community, but it just levels the playing field and, allows them to trust you a little bit because you're continuing to involve them in a conversation. But it's when like projects go silent for like months and they release something and then they realize that the community doesn't love it. Well, it's because you didn't involve them. You didn't do any questionnaires, any polls to see if it's even something that they want. Right. So I think, yeah, the simplest thing sometimes is always the answer.
Simplest thing is sometimes the answer. Like really, really loving that. I think it's like a lot of people are trying to play on the hype card here that, oh, we're building in silence. But in the current market, it's like attention economy and people have shorter temper and patience than ever before. So clear conversation is definitely a key element here. Welcome on stage, Wolf Swap, by the way, as well. We're talking today about community, and feel free to raise your hand, add to any topics or questions that we're going to talk about here. Oh, Hendrix, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to kind of double down on what he said. It's super simple. I mean, just view it as like your partner, like yes, you're doing things and you're handling things, but reassurance is always nice to have. So yes, like you're under promising and over delivering as a project, as a founder, but it's always important to remind your community that you are doing these things and kind of give them a glimpse of what's to come without spilling the whole beans, and also listening to your community as well. Um, Not to talk too much about Final Boss 2, but I mean, Kevin and all of them doing it perfectly well. I mean, they're supporting the Bozu Studios, which is a community-driven studio that supports all initiatives under Final Boss 2, that's ran by me and a couple people. I mean, you have a bunch of people that are opening businesses, creating all kinds of websites and designs and drinks and merch and shows, all kinds of things underneath the Final Boss 2 IP. And I see Kevin underneath every single one of them, supporting them full on. I mean, sat down in a conversation with Kevin and Kaito for about 45 minutes not that long ago with the team and how we're going to move Bozu Studios forward. And that is one of the things I think is crucial when it comes to a community and the founders for a project, to having the accessibility to talk to the founders and for them to listen and execute. Like if you look at Ubisoft, no disrespect to them, but they don't listen to shit anyone says about their games. And there's a reason why their games are not doing the best. So listen to your community and your community will reward you. And that's what it really means to be a builder in this space.
I really love that. And definitely, like, I think this Web 2 attitude doesn't really work in crypto. There's too many projects that are just like delivering products and essentially working as if this is just some kind of Web 2 field where you can just throw stuff at your community and they will like praise you for it. when you should kind of establish a family-like community where people are like happy to be part of it and thus, you know, bring value back. Like Exla has here created their own business, which essentially supports Asuki as a whole. Like if you can establish that kind of a connection with your people by being present, by being in events, then of course you're going to win long term. But on to the next question. So what do you guys think is like the biggest mistake that newcomers, like new founders, make in this space? We kind of touched it here, but what do you guys think? Oh, Wolf Swap, go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say, okay, hi everyone. By the way, this is Juju Beyond the PFP, and the mistake that founders make in the space is just thinking that it's easy, right? Because most times you see people kind of like building out products and getting things done because they feel like it's super easy to be a founder in Web3. And when they get in, they can actually like handle the heat, handle the pressure from the community. And in the long run, it turns into like what we see rugs and build projects, right? So the first thing is just the founder being like, willing to actually take on the eat. Look at like, well, I'm gonna say this for a fact, right? Like one thing I've heard in terms of advice, and I feel like it's something that works, is before you become a founder, actually make sure that you've worked with a team before, like in Web3, worked with a project, so you actually see behind, like you know what happens behind the scenes, you know how everything works, you know the kind of like pressure to expect before you actually come out with something of your own, right? So that's just one major problem that I feel like founders do, aside others that maybe Indrix had like touched up on, which is like transparency, support, and the whole other bunch. Because some founders as well, they make themselves like super unavailable to the community, and it's kind of like bad. It's kind of bad when you're looking at it that way. So yeah, that's just a couple of things. And Luke, shout out to you. I see you down there.
I completely agree, agree with this. Like, it is, yeah. Sorry, almost lost my voice. Been a long talkative day today. But yeah, I think we touched on that quite essentially. It is easy, you know, to think that things will happen by themselves in this space. And I think some take for granted still that when you create a project, people will just rally around it when that is not essentially the case. Does anyone on the stage have something to add to this topic, like mistakes that founders make or what they shouldn't do, essentially?
Oh, me. I love this question. Being around so many friggin' chains, the main issue with founders is communication between when they need help. A lot of founders feel like they're superheroes when they're human, and when they definitely need just a little assistance, it could just be maybe transparency or getting out an idea or just being somewhere and just overdoing it will put them in a position to shut down or hit that wall, well, which would react on the community or just leaders in general, which will trickle down. So I've seen that happen so many times when I was working on ETH, is the disconnect between founders being exhausted and asking their team and their community to help them through something instead of trying to do it themselves.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I think, you know, I think I said it before. It's like ego, man. It's like get in the trenches and learn how to do the things that you need to do and stop trying to do everything. Like the best leaders in the world hire experts to run their business. They don't try to do every single thing in the business and be the head of every single department, because the truth is they probably don't have the expertise in every single department, right? You know, most of the best like leaders that I'm aware of, they are people who have a good vision and strategy and then hire experts and great people to come and deliver that strategy. And I think that's one of the things that I see founders just making a mistake on is just trying to do everything themselves. And I think, you know, for new founders, especially, it's like coming into this, not trying to actually build a business. Like you're here for the hype. You're not here to build something that's going to last long and be sustainable and still be here in 5 to 10 years. And if that's your approach to it, then, you might as well everyone might as well just sell their NFT or whatever you're building on day one, right? Because you're not here for the long run. But if you are here for the long run and you do want to build a sustainable business and build a community and have people really rally around you, then you do things properly and, you seek help when you need it. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I'm really loving the takes and so many hands right away. I think it was Hendrix, Wolf Swap, and then Exla. Go ahead, Hendrix.
Yeah, I'll just be super short, just to piggyback off my man's over at Wolf Swap said. Basically, you got to do what's necessary for the community. You got to put your ego aside and do what's proper. If you are building something to push the narrative of Web3, to push the narrative of your project and the people a part of it, you need to take yourself out of it and do what is right for everyone else. I think the best example would be, maybe this is a really exaggerated example, but the best example that comes to mind is when the former CEO of Pudgy Penguin stepped down because he realized that the community, he wasn't doing what the community wanted and they would prefer somebody else to step in. And he did that. He put up a vote in the Pudgy Penguins Discord and he said, there's no harm, no foul. I just want to do what's best for the community. And they all voted for him to step down. He willingly stepped down. Lucas came into the picture and now is one of the top NFT projects right now. So that's taking accountability for yourself and putting the community above yourself as a founder. So I got major respect for that, man. But yeah, just doing what's for the community and remove yourself out of it.
Damn, really loving that example. Luca is definitely a great one here. Wolf Swap, go ahead.
Yeah, this might be something like really random and crazy, right? That I'm about to say. I just wanted to say this as well, that founders should not, if they're building our product and it eventually becomes like super successful, right? They should also let that ego get to their head, because I've seen it out of experience, like in this space a whole bunch of times. When you're like building a product and it gets like a little bit successful, then they kind of like close the doors to collaborations, they close the doors to actually supporting people around, and a whole lot of short doors, and kind of like make themselves an echo chamber on their own. So that itself is also something that could actually like bring a little bit of downfall to the product or to the project. And it's kind of like really crazy, like when I think about these things, right? To the extent at which I've seen it in the space, it's very crazy. Just a little bit of hype, and they kind of like switch up on you like that. So I just wanted to say that.
Damn, really loving the takes, guys. Exla, go ahead.
Yeah, since being the last, I could take the advantage and go, yeah, exactly what they said. No, but the one thing I learned over every single job from high school to college to actual career to everything I'm building is all of that, but mainly ask questions. No true question is a stupid question. Ask it once, ask it twice, make sure it's as clear as possible, because all you can do is just keep learning. So that's my biggest advice to when we're training interns, to when I'm learning something and I'm like, hold up, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Just ask questions. That's how you learn. It's literally what Socrates or something, a great philosopher, just ask why, ask how, and learn. If you're a founder, or if you're a person, or if you're a builder coming into space, even with your expertise or not, and you're open to asking, okay, I need help, or oh, I need to do this, or hey, community, am I doing this right, or what do you truly expect? Questions help tunnel and fuel actual collaborative thinking. So yeah, that's in my mind, questions help.
Definitely, like being able to or being willing to learn every day or become better every day is just a good attitude to have in general in any space. Now, before we move to the next question, which is probably going to be a bit harder one, but we have a giveaway, and it's going to be fairly simple to enter this one. Just repost the pinned post in the space, follow Exla, and comment below the post one of your friends or what's your favorite beer, and you could be winning some pretty amazing prizes. We have one mixed 3-pack of beers from Little Green Brewery, and then we have one beer goodies pack which has some stickers, magnets, and a beans stress toy to survive the current market conditions. So to enter that, check the pin post. You can also find this from Exla's page, the pinned tweet that he has. Repost, comment below, and good luck. And now,
One thing I wanted to say, it will earn you brownie points, but it won't mean you will get chosen if you comment what your favorite beer is and why. It's yeah. I always like to ask that question. I always like to hear and see and read people's taste. So yeah, it might help. I'm not saying it would. I'm just saying it might.
you heard it from a man. Feel free to enter the giveaway. And now, on to the next question. So, with the current trend, I've seen a lot of projects bring this like creators program to their table and essentially give community members a way to earn by being part of the community. Do you guys, this should be something that every project is trying to establish for their community? And do you guys even think it's a good way to establish community? Wolfswap, go ahead.
I'm gonna say like, okay, personally, right before we'll swap, I've worked with a whole bunch of projects on the marketing side and whatever. So I feel like community as a service is actually a thing, right? And that's a model that is actually coming out from that. To actually utilize your community to like push or create a buzz for your project. It's a thing, and I actually feel it's a great thing to be used. But it might not be for everyone because in the first place, right, before you actually do something like that, do you have the community? That's the first question. So it comes down to community building itself. So if you've built out your community to a great or sustainable way that, okay, yeah, everybody's in love with your product, whatever you're building, it gets super easy for you to incentivize it or put it in a way that they're out there actually making tweets about the project or actually creating these shows. It works. I say this most times on spaces, right? That Web3 and Web2, they're kind of like similar in more ways than apart, right? Because in Web2, if you're trying to onboard people, yeah, aside the usual marketing you watch on TV, the ones where you get influencers, whatever, to like market it, then there's also word of mouth. And word of mouth is like super important and very crucial when you're trying to onboard people into or trying to sell them a product, right? And in Web3, it kind of like works the same way. But this time, you have to use your community in ways or like incentivize them to do that for you. So that's like them doing word of mouth on socials, but just like maybe via an incentivized way. So I feel like it's a great way for any project and any product to actually utilize their community in such ways. But the main question is just that, do you have that community you could use in that way?
Dang, that's that's a good take, and I do agree with it. Like it is certainly something that people can utilize, but there needs to be kind of a strategy to make it part of the whole project. Because if it's just a thing on the side, it will look kind of sketchy, in my opinion, as well. Mm, do Exla, Shiba, Yon, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, not Very long take, but it's just that I kind of echo what he said as well because it's not for everyone. It really depends on the quality of that community. And also, I guess the kind of resources internally, do you have a community team that can manage what that is going to look like? Because it's easy to kind of say, but to create a creator program means that somebody is vetting all the creators in the community and making sure that you have a high quality amount of them who can create content that will benefit the project itself. And then someone's coordinating, how often these pieces of content are going out. Someone's moderating if there's anything that goes wrong in the content. Someone's reviewing it, and so it internally in itself, like it's a big piece of work. So my thing would be, if one, you guys think if the project thinks it is right for them, great. Do they have the resources internally to manage the program and deliver it? And when they do, how do they then reward those creators in the community for giving up their time and utilizing their expertise to, talk about the project? So, it's definitely worth doing if it makes sense for your community, but just got to make sure that you've got the resources internally to manage that.
Definitely, well put. And I think there's like good and bad examples of people doing this. Some projects only pick certain people to, you know, get the benefits of such programs, which will kind of create this differentiation of like good and bad community members, which will essentially lead to some members leaving because they're not being picked. And then there are like some projects where the community gets picked, but then everyone is just there to kind of reap the benefits and not actually for the products or the, founders, essentially. So it is a tricky place to be. And I personally haven't seen like any project establish this in a way where everyone is happy. Maybe at some point there will be a way to create such thing. And of course there are community.
No, no.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Sorry. I'm a firm believer in balance, and I agree with what everyone and what you say, but you need, for literally the balance, you need the FUD. You need the people who aren't happy, because if you're 100% great, how are you supposed to continue growing? One could, of course, argue philosophically, oh, but a utopia, the world's at peace. Sure, for a certain amount of time, but then what? Then it gets a little boring. Conflict, confrontation, disagreements. I promised A and I promised B. I went with person A, not B. That's what fuels, yeah, anything. That's what makes things grow. Science, whatever sector you work in. So yeah, no. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just one of those things. Like I would love to make everyone happy. I'm the person who's had to learn to stop saying yes and trying to make everyone happy, because it doesn't make anyone happy at the end of the day.
Really loving the devil's advocate vibes here, and such a good take, and it is completely true. John, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
I was going to let Hendrix go because he had his hand up first.
Oh,
Go on, Hendrix.
Hendrix, go ahead.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll just have to double down on what was said too. I mean, you can't make everybody happy. If you try to make everybody happy, then nothing's gonna go right, you know? And looking at it from a marketing perspective, you have to the hard truth is, whether if you have a big following or not, you have to choose the people that put out quality content and content that sticks. Because reality is, and this is just not just Web3, this is Web2 as well, how are you going to get funding, right, to continue to reward your creators if you don't have deals that are being closed because the content that's being pushed out isn't what they need, right? You can't provide the finances for that if your content doesn't align with what they want. So yes, it's unfortunate, but yes, you have to pick the better creators, because the better creators have higher impressions. Higher impressions have higher conversion rates. With higher conversion rates, you get more deals because that's what they're looking at. Companies look at analytics. I know it might be morally wrong sometimes, but at the end of the day, companies look at analytics. If you're giving it to everybody, bro, and everybody's just putting out BS content, no disrespect to anyone, but I mean, everyone try by all means. But if you're putting out BS content and a company comes in, they're like, yeah, you know what, we want to work with you. Then they see the content and they see the ROI, the analytics and everything. They're like, you know what, never mind, we'll go with blase blase, right? You want to have great creators so that the analytics and the turnover rate is much higher to close more deals to get your community paid more. So yeah.
Wolf, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say a bunch of crazy things, but firstly, right, like what Exla said was, brilliant, like very spot on. You can't actually like satisfy everyone at the end of the day. There's gonna be FUD, and like previous speakers said as well, like you need to actually listen to your community to know what you need to like improve on or what you need to do, because at the end of the day, as a founder, you're actually here because of the community, right? And they're the ones you're building out the product for. They're the users. If you aren't building what they like, then they're definitely not using it. And everybody knows how difficult it is to actually build a community, right? And there are layers to this thing. There's members, there's community, then there's cult-like community. So with all these layers, right, it's very difficult to build them if you eventually like ruin it at a stage why? Because maybe you weren't listening to whatever the community was saying at that point. So yeah, there's always going to be fun, but it just depends on what you end up doing at the end of the day. Then, okay, now going back to what Hendrik said, right, about the metrics and everything. Yeah, that's real, but I might disagree with the point of using big influencers to a point, right? Because if you actually do look at some of those creators, there are a whole bunch of them that actually like bought up their engagement, and not just like the ones who bought up their engagements, the ones who use like a whole bunch of groups where they like, social engineer it, and you just like make out, comments, likes, and you see the engagement through the roof, and you be like, oh yeah, yeah, it's good. I've seen maybe a few new founders that might like fall for such tricks, and eventually from that they'll get like low ROIs. And so most times, like at the end of the day, we know KOLs are fishy, and they might not be the main go-to at the end of the day. Maybe the well personal preference, right? I feel like the smaller guys, the regular creators, the ambassadors, let me put it that way, they're the best way to actually market your products in with a perfect mix of the community as well, utilizing community as a service. Then just to like create a little bit of buzz, maybe a few big kills, just to like give you that, okay, yeah, you can see it on the timeline, like maybe somebody posted. Don't expect an ROI from there. That's not where it's gonna come from. It's gonna come from the other race. But that's just like a show, like, okay, yeah, you exist, and yeah, all these things actually like come into play, and it's very crazy. It's very crazy, especially for people who don't like actually founders who don't see these things. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Thank you very much, Trisha.
Hendrix, go ahead.
Just to clarify, Wolf, I was referring to content creators as a whole, not so much Coles. Me and Coles don't really go well together. Just talking about people who produce quality content that have a higher ROI. I mean, a good example would be my wife. She's on the lower end of followers when it comes to social media. She has like maybe like 140K on Instagram, and she's going to all these big ticketed events with people that have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million followers, but she's getting paid more than them because her quality of content is higher. So that's what I'm referring to, the quality of content, the people that have the higher analytics and ROIs based on the content that they provide, not so much the following. You know what I'm saying? That's what I meant.
And I think this is something that can be seen also on the timeline. Like good content gets reposted, no matter who does it. Like if it's a account with 10 followers, but they just started and they clearly state that, this is what I did, and they have a great painting, then people are going to show support to it. And I think this is like where community sentiment is such a great thing. Like if you see someone supporting the community, everyone kind of just amplifies that. And I think Plague NFT is a great example of this. Like they are, in my opinion, one of the best at supporting community members, especially when they're new ones. You just see instant like 2 to 3K views on a post if you say like, "Oh, I just bought the Plague for." But this is not financial advice, by the way. This is just an example. Wolf, go ahead.
Yeah, I love that you actually brought this up, right? Because I was trying to get NFTs for a while, like personally, right? Not for Wolf Swap, but it's kind of like easy to just get any and every NFT into the vault. But personally, I love communities, right? I love community that actually shows up on the timeline, that actually supports, and that makes you feel like you're a part of something, right? And I kept on going for days, scrolling the timeline, checking out projects, and I was like, damn, community doesn't exist anymore with NFTs. Like, what's going on? So I just like, I'm not gonna mention some names. I'm not gonna mention some projects that I kind of like thought would be something, but eventually was a big nothing. But but eventually I kind of like found one recently though, like one recently, and it was they're like super cool. They're super supportive. They're always like out there, and the crazy thing is, it's on Hyperliquid, not on the regular chains. I don't know what's happening on the regular chains out there. Maybe a whole bunch of ego went around, but community isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, I found one on Hyperliquid. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh, damn, guys, we already passed the hour mark. This has been a great space. Like, really, thank you for joining, Sheba, John, Wolfswap, Hendrix, Exla. Like, this is the episode 1. So to anyone down there, we're still learning. I'm gonna be hosting these community boosting spaces every week, probably on Fridays, probably at this hour. It kind of depends on the people who are joining. Like today, we went with what I thought was a good time, and Exla agreed with it. So thank you for that. But next week, who knows? Let's see who we get up here. Before we close, I kind of want to get like last sentiments. What do you guys think future of community looks like?
Ape Chain. The community's building on Ape Chain. I'm too bullish. Sorry. I love every chain, but Ape Chain is just building.
Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for closing. Not yet, but really, really loving it. Thank you, but this is how you know that someone is committed to a chain. Damn. Full stop. Go ahead.
I love what Shiba did right there, right? And yeah, I could agree to an extent that Ape Chain, yeah, I'm bullish on Ape Chain to an extent because I was actually out there testing out the waters as well, looking at a couple of things, and you should check out Bored Ape Spaces. It's really nice. Like they're cool, they're supportive as well, even to the smaller guys. So it's really nice out there. Not gonna lie. And but talking about it like broad right now, maybe when it shifts away from the point of community actually looking for incentives in everything they need to do, and when everything isn't really like money driven anymore, that's when we get like that feeling, that vibe of community back. But for now, I feel like it's ruined, and we can see that with NFTs, not much community focused NFTs anymore. Everybody's screaming out utilities, utilities. don't get me into that one. I feel like with NFTs, there's no utility anywhere. If it doesn't affect your life, like, does it affect your real life, then it's not a utility. So, so everybody kept yelling utility. They ruined NFTs because they were trying to like look for the financial side. I feel like everybody playing Web3 game, trying to look for incentives, ruined that as well. Like everything is ruined. So I don't know what's gonna happen or what needs to happen to actually like change that point of view from people or users. But if that doesn't change, I don't think community is actually gonna exist. But might exist in a couple of projects, but widely like across Web3, nah.
Hendrix, go ahead.
I would just say the change that are working and building to grow in Web3 versus just hype will be the ones that have the most success. I mean, Ape Chain, um, Abstract, I mean, plenty of others. I'm not going to say no names of some that are just running off a straight hype and people who are just dipping money into it. But the ones that are just dropping bread into it and it's just straight hype, you know which ones I'm talking about, will die off quickly. But the ones that are building in the bull and the bear market will be the ones that are most successful in Web3. So,
John, do you have a final word on this?
Yeah, I was just gonna say actually that, yeah, on top of all of that, I think for me, I think creators are the next thing. I think a lot of communities are going to be built around some of the creators that are coming up and providing value to the space, and people are going to rally around those creators because they provide value, they trust them, they don't just shill random coins to, make money off their followers. I think that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of communities built off of creators that provide value to and help to make the space a better place. And these creators, they might be supporting and ambassadors to other projects or businesses, but I do think that they're going to play a key role in creating some of that community sentiment that seems to be missing a bit right now.
And excellent. Go ahead.
I would say agreed with everyone. Really, every time I thought, oh, that's what I'm gonna say, everyone hated it. So really nicely said to everyone in this space. And the future of community is let the community build. Let the project team give the tools to the community to also build. That's what a good democracy, community, degeneracy, whatever have you, society is when we're all building towards a common goal, towards a fun goal, towards a feasible, lucrative goal, whatever. That's how they evolve. When I can go, look, I just bought something on 8chain and I can apply it to my, anime chain project, and I can apply it to my Wolf Swap, or I can apply it to ETH, or if I can connect the dots and solve the paperclip problem, that's how you grow. You don't have to solve the paperclip problem. That's a hard one, paper slowly, being scarce, so to speak. But no, build. Let the community build and nurture it.
Damn. Like, really, really, thank you guys for this stage. Thank you for joining. This was a great, great talk. And anyone down there, as a listener, if you're not following already Hendrix, Jom, Wolfswap, Exla, please do so. You have also still time to enter the giveaway for the Little Green Brewery. Just check the pin post up there, repost it, comment your favorite beer, follow Exla, and he'll be picking a winner soon-ish. Maybe in 24 hours, maybe in 12 hours. Who knows? You better move quick or medium speed, but don't move slow, or you might miss the opportunity. But we're gonna keep doing these community episodes every week, maybe on Fridays. Who knows? I'll be posting about it. There's also going to be once a week creative space where we talk creativity and how the space affects it. And we're currently in works with a innovation space. So we'll swap. We need to also DM about that. But at the end of the day, if we don't talk about harder topics or how to be better in this space, then who will? So thank you for joining. Thank you for making this space a better place for all of us. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, and I'll see you guys on the timeline. And now we don't have an ending music, so I'll just rug the space bluntly. So thank you and goodbye. We're rugging the space. Ciao.